killer. And the shrimpy is a coming tonight. There's gonna be some shrimp. I don't know why one has the butter and the other one don't. I'm gonna use that butter stick to saute all the shrimpies in.
Okay.
So it's gonna be roasted red pepper flavored shrimpers.
Oh,
Yeah. And butter, of course. Hello. Welcome to the war news for the 5th of July. Is anybody here yet? I sent the notice out an hour early and shit. And I'm even here on time, so who knows? Whatever. You guys know that our live streaming capabilities will be ending at the end of this month, right? Or the 1st of August. I think. I'll try the other way, but I doubt it'll work. It hasn't worked yet since I've tried it.
totally. Oh.
Yeah. All right. So the world's going a bit insane. There's not really any big things I can report, but America has requested a new closed-door hearing at the UN with the IAEA, and they're going to talk about how they're going to spank Iran or something. I don't know. America's itching to attack Iran, which is funny because Iran is kind of waiting around for America to attack. And they're like, hello, come on, we got a war to get going here. Can you guys bomb us, please? And Iran's just poke, right in the belly. You're giving them the Pillsbury Doughboy treatment. And Trump just keeps going, ooh, and running away and, instead of attacking. But it's getting there. So what happened is America the other day was like, hey, England, we need you to hijack a ship. And still, hey, Toots is here. Hi, Toots. And England was like, what? Stealing shit on the high seas? We're totally in, man. And so they stole an Iranian oil tanker. And today Iran was like, you need to release our ship immediately or we're going to start holding your ships hostage too. And everybody in England was like, we're energy independent. We don't import any oil from the Persian Gulf. And then I looked up on the Google and I'm like, you got these companies like BP and stuff, and they actually have a lot of oil tankers that go through the Persian Gulf. And they never go to England. They just steal oil from the Middle East, and then they take it and they sell it to like Pakistan and Japan and stuff like that. All right, thanks, Toots. I don't know how I do that, but I'm not really sane myself. But anyways, yeah, thank you. We try our best. It's a crazy world. So Iran can, in fact, hijack UK oil tankers because they do exist. England citizens did not know this, but I looked it up and found it out in about 2 minutes flat. Hi there.
Hi. It's tea time.
Uh-oh. So that's a thing.
If I have tea. Oh, I do.
And we got to make you a new one. That's probably your last cup. Hey, puppies. Yep. The puppies are all freaking out from the holidays, so that's
because it's the 5th. So let's shoot fireworks. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Now, so also a new development is Iran has now stationed their fighter jets at 3 different airports on the Persian Gulf right there at the Strait of Hormuz, which means they're preparing to possibly be needing to do some fighter jet things. And fighter jets are good at blowing up ships and other fighter jets. So Iran's preparing for a major air battle. That's what Iran is doing right now. So they're actively pushing for war. Now,
sorry, that's going to be loud.
I'm sorry. You already filled it?
Water boils.
You didn't even rinse it out.
I sort of did.
Man, now you make me feel like I had to do all your water stuff.
See,
Do I have to carry your
here's the
water
thing.
for you?
You treat me way more special than I treat myself.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, as of the other day, or as of coming up, day after tomorrow, in fact, starting Sunday, Iran's going to start enriching their uraniums over the 3.67% limit that they agreed to in the JCPOA. That's not violating the nuclear treaty. That's totally conforming with the nuclear treaty. The UK hijacking an Iranian oil tanker is actually an act of war.
I think it's funny how you say nuclear like George Bush.
Oh, well, you know, I had to grow up sometime. So like that, and so they're enriching uranium and just so you know, to make a fucking bomb, your uranium has to be at 90% or more. So Iran's under 3.67%, and
That's got to be some high grade uranium.
They said they're going to enrich it for electricity production, so it means they're going from 3.67 to a maximum of 4.5%.
Probably for cold fusion.
It did fall from the property. What? Why haven't you seen him? Is he like out on the property somewhere? He didn't come and get the deadfall. What a fucking son of a bitch, man.
The deadfall.
Yes.
Oh, is that like the wood that falls down?
Yeah. Son of a bitches. That always makes you laugh. Tell him he's the son of many bitches. He's hiding. So now I did this. It's really easy math. That super tanker, it's carrying, I think they said 2 million barrels of oil. Yeah, that one tanker has approximately 2 million barrels of oil. And if you do the math, that's worth, as of July 3rd oil commodity market.
I'm gonna make some more noise.
Okay. Oh, we have to buy one more of those for the road. Yep. Yeppery-doo, dog.
Horses are probably easier to find than, you know.
Hey, Tanya's in the house. We're doing.
Hi, Tanya.
So that oil tanker, I don't know how much a super tanker costs, but the oil on it is worth $113 million as of July 3rd closing prices for the oil commodities. I'm like, oh, I'm mixing like farming news and stock market shit in with my war news, and people are probably like, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm like, this is all things you got to pay attention to if you're doing war and stuff. Oh, man. Yeah, or you can just landscape them, you know, like build a bridge out of your neighbor or something.
The neighbor bridge.
Yeah.
A neighborage.
So now the UK just stole a super tanker. And when Iran said, hey, you need to release it immediately, Gibraltar, which is a UK colony. Gibraltar. Jabroni. Like,
it's a hard G.
Yeah, it's jabroni. Jabroni, the UK colony, because, you know, imperialism and shit. Like, they said, oh, we're going to keep it for 2 more weeks. After Iran was like, you need to let our shit go el pronto, motherfuckers. And so they said no.
Pronto means like a couple weeks?
Not exactly, but apparently that's what they think it means. And just, I don't know, did I say this last time I did a live stream or
Say
not?
what?
No.
Mm.
The reason I say these things as war crimes and they're illegal and stuff is because there is no United Nations Security Council resolution saying that Syria or Iran can be sanctioned. There's literally zero international laws allowing the sanctioning of Iran or Syria in the globe today. You need to eat
cut
that.
This up.
Yeah, it's getting ready.
Beautiful.
You need to eat it.
It's still.
You should
it's
eat
still
that.
mostly firm, but
After we do this, you should chop it up while I'm cooking the shrimps.
Okay.
Yeah. So, seizing Iranian or Syrian merchandise is a violation of international law. So, the Brits are now pirates on the high seas of the Mediterranean. It's really ugly. Oh God, these dogs. Hi guys, whatever. So all of the sanctions on Iran and Syria are actually illegal sanctions. They are a violation of international law. And as Iran calls it, it's economic terrorism. And they're calling sanctions an act of war. So Iran has more or less already put it out there in the public that they're considering themselves as at war with America and England. And everybody on Twitter is like, are you sure this isn't just an international incident? No, these are declarations of war, all right? What they're saying is that
Them's fighting words.
Yeah, if you're fucking around with them, they're considering what you're doing acts of war, which means they are giving them, that's how you get the legal right to respond with military force. Yeah. So, Iran...
Well, isn't Canada like
they're
sort
still
of a part of the
England.
UK or something?
Yeah, they still are. So, Iran and Syria are now not very happy.
Which is funny because I think that, so, you know, they officially are, but in the way Canadians do, they're just like, you know, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And then like, you know, doing their own thing.
Trying to pretend. Murphy, stop. Next month, guys, you got to hold out for...
I know. For my birthday. You guys look at flea stuff for my birthday.
Oh, God. So, Iran's recently installed the fighter jet cables, landing cables at the 3 airports in the Strait of Hormuz, which means they have fighter jets there, and they're ready for an air battle. This is ramping up very fastly. Also, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, they've withdrawn their forces out of Yemen. You know, that little war of genocide they've been helping out Saudi Arabia with? Well, UAE has recalled all of their forces from Yemen. Mm-hmm. And
that's because you guys didn't have your Jews.
Yeah. So anyways, where was I? UAE withdrew their forces from Yemen because they're afraid there's going to be a war between the U.S. and Iran. And if the U.S. attacks Iran, as Iran has said, Israel only has 30 minutes left to live. What that means is Iran is, I don't know if they have the capabilities to do this or not. And frankly, nobody knows what their capabilities are.
I think it's pretty funny and actually pretty smart to say, yeah, okay, you fuck with us. We're going to take those guys out.
Yeah, just for the hell of it. Because nobody likes the Jews anyways, so fuck them. Anyways, the thing about this is Israel is a very tiny place compared to everybody else around them. Not very much land space, very small population, very crowded into these like just a couple of cities. and it makes them what we call an easy target for blowing up.
So you mean there's not a lot of Israeli countryside?
No, not a lot at all. They're also surrounded by enemies because they've made everybody around them an enemy. They're really just the beachhead of NATO.
They're kind of assholes. I think Hitler was onto something.
Yeah. I actually think the Jews are the old Nazis, the ones that actually escaped.
Quite possibly so.
Yeah. So if Iran attacks Israel, Hamas and Hezbollah, well, at least Hamas and the PIJ will attack Israel at the same time, possibly Hamas or Hezbollah. Hezbollah has quietly been withdrawing their forces out of Syria back to Lebanon because they're getting ready for the big fight with Israel too. Everybody is getting ready for some big fighting. They're getting ready for some big fighting. Also, Iran is funding a rail line that runs from the border of Iran and Iraq on the Iran territory all the way through Iraq, all the way through Syria, straight downtown Damascus. And the reason they're doing this is because the UK is stealing their ships. and other, because there's an actual naval blockade of Syria right now, and obviously of other places. Why do you think the U.S. Navy is building up forces in the Persian Gulf? They're running naval blockades, and they're going to try to enforce a naval blockade, and this is what leads to war. Okay, this is what leads to war, and
them's warring words.
Yeah, so they're building a rail line for crude oil and what probably military, a train that carries things, right? And that's going to try to bypass all the naval blockading. Now, that's why,
Thomas the Tank Engine will get through.
Yeah. Now, if you want to know why America actually never pulled out of Syria and why we have 50,000 troops in Iraq, it's because...
My great-grandfather was in World War I. Sorry.
It's okay. It's because America is going to try to blow up the train tracks as soon as it's built. And that's going to cause some big war, too. Because if America attacks Iranian stuff, like, I don't know, their super tankers and their rail lines, Iran might decide to just say, hey, Israel, fuck off, and blow them the fuck up.
That'd be funny.
And here's the key. If Iran does a surprise attack against Israel, there's really not dick Israel can do about it, because as soon as Iran launches all those ballistic missiles, they're going to communicate with the PIG and Hamas, and they're going to launch, guess what? A shield of fucking exploding animal balloons. Right? So there's going to be hundreds and thousands of exploding animal balloons floating around Israeli airspace, and their fucking anti-air defense systems, their THAAD and their Iron Dome and all that stuff, they're not going to be able to see the ballistic missiles from the animal balloons. And it's going to be kaboom, Israel, defeated by fucking animal balloons. I'm calling it now. Animal balloons is going to be the fucking downfall of the Jews.
I'm envisioning the Teletubbies baby son going
and so like that's in play. But let's just pretend we're Iran and we just had $113 million worth of oil stolen from us. Plus the ship it's in, which is probably a lot of money too. It's got to be at least a couple $1 million. It's a super tanker. It holds $113 million of oil. 2 million barrels.
Kind of a lot.
That's a lot, yeah. That would hold over the nation of Shanglu for a while, I think. A couple days at least. Couple of days. Now, over something simple. Yeah. Now,
wasn't that how the other wars were started?
It's always something stupid. Humans are not, everybody thinks we had these like great leaders in history. No, people are just people, and they're usually stupid. They get lucky, or they're born rich and stuff like that. But So that's going on. Now, if I'm Iran and my shit just got stolen from me like that, and there's like these sweet ass cherry motherfucking military targets I can fuck with all over the community. There's the UAE, there's Saudi Arabia, there's Israel, there's the 50,000 soldiers the U.S. has in the Al Anbar province. There's another 10,000 U.S. soldiers over in Syria, over at Al Raqman, and up in the Kurdish territories in the oil fields. There's
so many targets.
There's an entire carrier group in the Persian Gulf. Not just an entire carrier group, they also have 2 amphibious landing craft. Those are like mini aircraft carriers with the ass that opens up, and then tanks come out of it after they back up onto land, and they drop their drawers, and then the Marines and shit all go get pooped out onto the land.
Right.
And they have helicopters that are on top. That's why I say they're mini aircraft carriers. They carry attack choppers and stuff like that.
The choppers.
Well, there's 2 of those, and each one of those probably holds, I don't know, probably a troop or 2 worth of Marines. So they can do some damage if they actually get a foothold somewhere. We're talking about several hundred peoples, maybe up to maybe 1,000 if you got 2 of them. I don't know the exact numbers on that yet.
I thought it was pretty funny how on Reddit they were making fun of Trump saying that they took back the airports on the Revolutionary
Did you guys see that on the 4th of July? It was hilarious. Apparently, according to Trump, George Washington crossed the tarmac to board his flying machine, which he used to beat Cornwallis.
And bomb the Nazis.
And then he flew off to bomb the Nazis. The Nazi party didn't really say, but it would have been hilarious. He might as well have. He might as well have thrown in some Jesus and dinosaurs with some AK-47s and shit, too.
Took out the Moses or the Noah book. Or boat.
George Washington flew to the moon with Jesus Christ and Elvis Presley to defeat the lizard people that were sent there by Hillary Clinton through a Stargate.
In the Walmart tunnels.
Yes. That you have to go to the moon to get to.
Right.
So, no, he literally claimed that the Continental Army took over the airports to beat the Brits during the Revolution.
Wait, I think they took over the airports from the Brits.
From the Brits. So George Washington stormed the airports to take them back from the Brits. You 1
if by land, 2 if by sea, 3 if by air.
Bulletproof air. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. So yeah, he really said that the Continental Army took over the airports in the Revolution to fly the Model Ts to fight the Nazis.
The Model T tanks they had.
Well, have you ever seen that movie Flubber? Yeah, that's what they had back then, Flubber. So that's a thing. Let's see now. Was there anything else going on? So, I think I covered it all. Has anybody else got news? More news. Okay. So I guess apparently humans are stupid. So there's actually a little bit of political strife between Iran and Russia over in Deir ez-Zor because they're afraid the Jews are going to start striking Iranian targets. And
well, they've been warned that they're going to be taken out, so they've got to take evasive action.
See, Russia always prides themselves on not losing so many soldiers as America does. And Putin's losing popularity, but look at, man, it's only a matter of time until something really fucked up happens in Russia with ISIS and stuff. That's going to be the mistake the NATO makes. They're going to unleash some kind of an ISIS terrorist attack in Russia, and it's going to kill 100 people or something. Because right now, the Russian population is really, they want peace. They don't want all those foreign deployments and war. And
can you blame them?
well, yeah, well, they're not very smart. They should realize that there's some major ass kicking that needs to be handed out. And they're the ones that are tasked out with that job. You're having another one.
I'm sorry.
I wonder if Bob ever came home. Probably not. There we go with that again. Oh, I forgot to mention, according to Twitter on the 4th of July, is we're maniacs that need to be stopped. That's what I was told, that we're both maniacs and we need to be stopped. Man, millennials are such fucking pussies. I don't understand them. I can't even talk about the cool stuff I've been doing with my kiddo because if the wrong people hear it, they, whatever, But I had a good time with my kiddo, like before the 4th of July and all that good stuff. Some good times. Anyways, where was I even going with any of this? Where was I? I got stuck on flubber. No, I went somewhere after the flubber. What was I just talking about before you started doing the pipe raising?
You're asking the wrong person over here.
Oh, the Russians.
It was the Russians.
What? The Russian drivers? I haven't heard of that. Toots. Did you send that to me before?
Is that like the don't be a douchebag thing?
Probably.
That's pretty funny. That's in Russia where there's people that like just drive on the sidewalk. And so now there's like, the people that stop, that stand in the way and don't let the cars through, and then they put stickers on the windshields.
Damn them sons of bitches.
Funny.
Son of a bitches. So Russia and Iran really are having a political dispute and having disagreements on something on the ground, and they're afraid that the Russian forces are going to get targeted by Israel. Russians.
Well, I've seen some of the Russian dash cam footage stuff. There's some montages of that.
So I don't know how big of a dispute that is, but Russia and Iran are pretty good allies, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. Because Iran seems to be a pretty reasonable peoples, and Russians are very pragmatic. Now, there's also the possibility that it's fake, that the Russia and Iran are playing at being upset with each other, and they're doing it to bait others.
Which is kind of funny when you think about it, too.
Because they've been known to do this in the past, where they'll have fake disputes, and it's to fool certain other elements, Israel, into doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
Certain other elements, aka Israel.
And so I don't know how real or not real that, but I have a source on the ground in Syria, and I asked them about it, and they said that it was kind of sort of a real thing. But how politics takes, that well,
maybe they
politics happens and it upsets the war.
Kind of pissed each other off, but not so much that they're more mad than they're mad at everybody else.
I don't think they're mad at each other. They're just having a strategy.
Having a spat.
That's my thing. It's time for your meds. They're having a disagreement on how to go forward in the war, because the time is coming when Russia is going to either have to confront U.S. forces or run away from the fight.
Oh, sorry, baby.
And Iran is getting to the point to where they're ready to force a fight between themselves and America and whoever the fuck else wants to join the party. And I think what the dispute is moral.
It's not Tuesday, right?
No, it's Friday.
Okay.
So I think it's more of the strategy dispute than anything else.
2 day.
Yeah, because they're building that new rail line, and America is right there on both sides of that, and a lot of ISIS and stuff is around still. We're actually America has been busy the past several months reconstituting ISIS. So that's going on. That's not too terribly great.
Like, adding water. And
no, he gave us a link. I have to click on the link. Open the link in a new tab. I don't know where that went to. I hope. Yeah, there it goes. I have to pause that. So there, we're paused. So there's that. Let me see, what else is going on?
People are running stupid machine things outside. It's really lame.
I'm sorry.
Really don't like air blowers anymore.
And at this time of the night too, it was weird.
I know.
So I haven't really looked into the videos or much of the news about it, but America and Ukraine and like a few other nations are holding these naval exercises off the coast of Crimea. And it's hilarious, but Russia just closed down a section of the sea that they were saying they were going to do stuff in. And now they can't because Russia put a no selling zone out there. And they're like, they keep buzzing all the ships from all the other countries. Oh yeah, and America tried to sneak a fucking P-8 through the air defenses for Crimea. And the cool thing about Russia is their pilots, they're not slaves. You can tell they're free peoples. They're doxing's not a thing. Tell them to go fuck themselves. Tell them to say, dox my penis. What? My penis. It's out there on the internet. Apparently, it's still...
So are my boobs.
I thought that those videos were privated, but apparently they're not.
Uh-huh.
Or pornos.
Oh, great.
I fucking put them... It's like the porn channels, they're
like, hey, these are good. We should show them off.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're there, they're there. There's nothing we can do about it. So my penis and your sexy body is all out there on the porn channels. Nothing we can do about it.
Right on.
So, sorry. Rating for the free pizza. That's funny. So, there's that. And then on the 4th of July, they called me a maniac that needs to be stopped. Because that's what you do on your celebration of your patriotic holidays. You go online and you find homeless, mentally disabled veterans, and you tell them they're maniacs that need to be stopped.
You tell them they're bullies.
Because America's that patriotic that on Patriot Day, they go around and they tell the patriots that... So
it's kind of like they're punching you in the head saying, why aren't you being more patriotic?
And I'm just really disgusted with Americans. They're pathetic losers, and they don't deserve real soldiers. They don't deserve real soldiers. And the funny part is they don't have any real soldiers left. Because, oh, don't worry about it. Happy 3rd. You guys had a Canada Day thing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
On the 3rd.
Was that the...
I thought so. That was a Canada holiday.
I
don't mean it was Canada Day. Canada Day's an actual holiday. I don't know if that was the 3rd.
I thought that was Canada Day.
Was that the 3rd?
Was Canada Day like just before or after?
Yeah.
4th of July.
I don't know. But the American military, I've been out for a long time, like over a decade now, and it was already going downhill. I was stationed at Fort Hood when the military policy was changed and the U.S. Army was turned into a crap hole of fucking undisciplined scum.
Good times.
Yeah. Basically what they did is they made PLDC, it's called Primary Leadership Development Course. It's the first school you have to go to become an NCO. Anyways, when I was in Fort Hood, they made it was always an open school. And what opened
first?
What?
That's Canada Day.
Oh, July 1st. Oh, I see. No. And An open school in the military means it's just like your normal job. It's like you get sent to somewhere and you're given a room and you get a schedule and you have classes and you go to them and you have training events, you have regular formations. It's all just normal, everyday military life. And it's your job to be a disciplined soldier, to show your discipline, to show up where you're supposed to be at the right time, to study when you're supposed to study, and to pass the tests. Well, in an open campus environment, what you're doing that way is you're allowing people that don't deserve to be promoted to fail out because they show they're not disciplined by partying, not showing up to work, not studying, failing the tests, whatever. And then they get sent back to their unit and they can finish out their career by never being an NCO. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's called a filter to filter out good leaders from people that are not supposed to be in leadership positions.
It sort of works.
It used to work great. No, it worked great. And we used to have a well-disciplined military back then. But they changed it to a closed school. Now, what a closed school is like basic training. And like when you have the drill sergeant, it's like that. Except because it's a school for leadership and stuff, you
learn how to yell at the soldiers.
You instead of having a drill sergeant and stuff, you all have to take turns being the leader and stuff, and you get marched around everywhere, and it's just like basic training or like prison life basically. And your whole everything is you got inspections and stuff, and what they do is you're not allowed to fail the course. So when I was in Fort Hood is when they changed that to where they made it to where scumbags are no longer allowed to fail. And now we got a military full of scumbags because of that.
Progress.
Yeah. And that's just the way that's how I know that the modern military is full of scumbags, because they changed their primary leadership development courses from open campus to closed campus. And that was well over a decade ago. That was like a decade and a half ago when they did all of that. So the military's had almost an entire generation to train scumbags.
And that's what they've got.
They're basically box slaves with guns.
Hot in here?
You're just having probably. So that's how we know that the military is scum.
It's cool. We're good.
Jesus criminy. Not that it matters anymore. Her boobs are hanging out.
They're not. They're totally in a bra.
They're like, rolling around on the floor. If I
my boob!
If I went to stand up, she'd get a chest pain.
It'd make like a squeaky sound.
Like a dog toy. But yeah, that's how I know those things. Also, officers are just rich people and they're scum. So yeah, all rich people are scum, except for every once in a while there's rich people that actually don't make it known that they're rich people, and they don't make a big deal out of it, and they just live a normal life.
Can you open the window?
Yeah, I can do that. Ow. Oh, you're lying. So that's going on. And so our military is in the worst shape it's ever been since before Vietnam. Since at least then. I mean, our military now is in worse shape than it was at the height of Vietnam, when it was the worst shape ever.
When it was all draftees.
And no, it was a bunch of drug use and no discipline. Yeah, and the draft.
Well, it was all people who were drafted, so
yeah, they didn't care. They were trying to get kicked out. They didn't even
want to be there.
Yeah, they were trying to get kicked out. Trump was one of those draft dodgers too.
Yep. Good old bone spurs.
Yeah, good bone spurs. But so the military, our modern military, is in worse shape than it was in Vietnam. I mean, if you look at our generals, that one general is a total tweaker.
Which one?
The one that's in charge of CENTCOM. The one that keeps getting shot up every time he goes to Afghanistan. That one. Yeah, I don't know if you realize that the CENTCOM commander, that's a general. I forget what his name is.
General Killjoy.
General fucking tweaker. But
Killjoy.
every time he visits Afghanistan, the Taliban attacks him, and they keep killing all of his security detail and shit. And that son of a bitch, for some reason, is able to fucking skulk away and every time. But,
I can just see, like, okay, you're up next to be his guard. I don't want to be his guard.
he's like, soldiers, it's time to go to Afghanistan. Where's my security detail? No. But yeah, that is, and he's a total tweaker too. Man, it's pathetic. America's so pathetic. A bunch of junkies and criminals. Our military, our government, we know that everything is just a fucking nation of junkies and criminals. Anyways, no discipline. And I know America thinks they're the greatest and the best at everything. Your best allies are chopping people into little tiny pieces while they're still alive. Your best buddies in the UK are pirates.
You're right. They don't make any war sitcoms anymore.
Oh, wow. You're right. That's crazy, huh?
Well, because, they're trying to not glorify it so much. Well, I guess they should glorify it, but they're trying to make it, make people not see how.
Because they've trained the civilian population to hate veterans, and they're driving them to death, and the courts are robbing those veterans. Look at us. My dad, Vietnam veteran. I'm an Iraq veteran, and the courts are stealing my inheritance and giving it to the people that murdered him. That's America. I'm not unique here. This is what happens to all of us veterans and all of the soldiers once you get out and shit. This is what happens to the good people in America. It's not a one-off thing. I'm not unique. This is the entire legal system of America. It's systemic corruption.
Sometimes good people go bad, then they go to country concerts.
And that guy wasn't a veteran, though. He was just a rich guy with a lot of guns. I looked it up. So it's only a matter of time until a dedicated veteran comes out and said, we can't have a fucking civilian holding that title. And the U.S. farmers are committing suicide twice as fast as U.S. veterans.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And if you look at the numbers, that means 44 farmers a day are blowing their brains out in America. Now, think about this, though. I was mentioning that to you the other day.
Mm-hmm.
The military has this thing called basic training and advanced individual training. I think that's what it is, or whatever. And we have systems to create new soldiers. America has no system to create new farmers. So
you're a soldier.
Yeah. So farmers are actually in short supply in America now because we have no mechanism for making new ones. Because as soon as the farmer blows his brains out, the bank steals the land.
Mm-hmm.
So these rich people are getting all this land, and it's going to be sitting dormant because they have nothing to do with it. They're not going to make extra food because if you grow the food on the land, you're going to fucking depress the price of the food of the land that you do grow food on. Mm-hmm. Because they're bankers and they don't care about human suffering, and they're going, even though we're in a food famine fucking globally, like
we saw that all through Kansas.
Yeah, fallow fields.
Well, no, the fields were planted, but the houses were all rotting because it was all corporate owned.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were running the fucking water lines right through the houses and stuff, the pivots and stuff, right through the yards and everything. Like, yeah. So that's going on. Mm-hmm. So America is losing farmers faster than it's losing their veterans and soldiers, and that's not good because there's no basic training for farming. Once the farmers are gone, the farmers are gone. Mm-hmm. We're heading into a very bad and dark place in human civilization. It's global. And I know Russia and Iran and China, they think they're on top of the game and they're this rising civilization, but they're wrong because they're in a drought and they're going to be hit by the famine just like all the rest of us. That's going to start killing a lot of people. Like, look at India. Their main water reservoirs, it's not even, summer just began and their water reservoirs are going dry. They're hitting 115 degree temperatures. Wow. And with the humidity, that means these places in the summertime are going to becoming human inhabitable. And they're probably concealing it, but there's probably people dropping dead already, the elderly and the poor and the homeless and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so Russia and China and them are going to be getting hit by the famine too. They're not immune to this. The only difference is China actually has strategic reserves of things to help mitigate the disasters for a few years. And Russia doesn't have a lot of people and they have a lot of land. So even though they're running out of water, it's a slower process than elsewhere like India and China. No.
Okay.
So they're going to get caught in this
dogs
too.
Here.
Yeah.
There's like 5 dogs like right here.
I know. I think we're good. I have to go pee and then cook some dinner. So does anybody have any closing statements they'd like to put out? Anybody? Bueller?
I've had lots of thoughts that have gone through my head that, might have been interesting to share, but then poof, they were gone.
Sorry. I let you talk.
It's not even like it's not like I was waiting for you to stop talking. It's more like when I maybe would have said something, poof, it was gone.
Oh, sorry.
It's just that.
Yeah, we're getting there. And you had a little bit of a rough day today too. So we got through
Stupid
it.
Anxiety.
You coped very well today.
Mm-hmm.
You did. You coped very well. It was a struggle for you, but you took charge of your brain and you didn't spiral out of control. You managed it. I'm very proud of you.
Sure.
You don't always manage to catch yourself on those, and then it becomes a very bad episode.
This was only a moderately bad episode.
What? The animals have to get shot up with steroids. That's terrible. Yeah. But yeah, the USDA is changing all the fucking rules to try to conceal how bad things are. That's bad. When your government's lying about the farms,
yeah,
there's something very wrong in the world.
Well, and I'm pretty sure when they inject them with steroids, doesn't that go into the meat somehow?
It depends on what steroids and what they're for and what they do. It depends. They're short duration steroids and long duration steroids. Like estrogen is a long lasting hormone, actually, not steroid. The steroids are just other hormones, but some last longer and some don't last hardly at all. Yeah. So, Canada and America, you guys are right there, You bet you don't have a single poor person in your parliament. It's all lords and
because they're all rich people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When it costs $500 million to become a president of a nation, you're not a free nation anymore. That's not a real election. It's a beauty pageant for the rich.
We should go back to the old kind where, you have to pull a sword out of the water.
I like it when you have a system of government based on watery tarts throwing swords at passerbys.
Yeah.
That's how it'll be done in Shanglu. You can be the watery tart.
After I drown?
No.
I'm just going to stand there and throw swords at people.
Yeah.
I'm going to aim for kids.
There you go. So, that's a thing happening. Remember, folks, keep storing up on food. You want to do it before September hits.
Keep stashing food up for the winter.
Like how we're totally flat ass broke for this month. We're still going to manage to store at least 40, 50 pounds of food.
Okay.
And that's on top of our working supply of 40, 50 pounds.
And hopefully
so that puts us
our freezer too.
Yeah. So we will, and then in June, this is July, and then in August we'll be able to do a lot more.
But we won't be doing the live stream.
So by the beginning of September, we might not have 400 pounds worth of food, but we'll have a 100 or 200
and we might not even have internet.
We won't have internet at all. No, we'll have our road internet. We've been here before. We know how to do things. We can't live stream after the fucking first of fucking
so we'll
August
have to make
anyways.
videos and then premiere them or something.
Yeah. The local government, it doesn't want to back up the farmer. They want to rob you, just like the soldiers.
Because farmers are just more slaves.
This is why fascism is self-defeating, because they enslave the soldiers and the farmers. Then your society cannot function without those two professions. And if you destroy them, well, you've destroyed yourself. But the fascists don't realize that they can't rule the world from their box slave cubicle fucking complexes. That's why fascism is self-defeating. When you put a bunch of delusional rich people at the top of the fucking leadership pyramid, what you get is a system that eats itself alive and collapses in total corruption.
Woohoo!
We're waiting for the revolution to hit, because we're going to go scope out like an abandoned farmhouse with a nice root cellar for hiding from the tornadoes, and then we're going to become farmers of the apocalypse.
Right on. Apocalypse farmers.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna have some wheat fields, gonna have some greenhouses with some cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers, hot peppers, yellow sweet peppers. And I want an orchard with some apples and some pears and
Well, we have to watch out,
avocados.
because with the whole ground solar minimum
Oh, God.
and the sun going into hibernation.
We're going to have a blue water event in the Arctic within a matter of years. And they think that there's an ice age coming.
Because the sun's going to go dormant or something.
Yeah. So explain to me how you're having an ice age when there's no ice in the North Pole. That's not much of an ice age. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and where it's raining and flooding everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, our farmers are raped. That's for sure. The banks and the courts are raping the farmers and the veterans, people. That's what it means to live in a fascist society. I'm trying to explain that America is, and obviously Canada too, because we're all NATO, is one big fascist empire, just like Nazi Germany. Think about it. Trump, since he's been president for many years now, that's as he would say, America under Trump has signed no new treaties. He refuses to commit to a law at all. And he's done nothing but destroy international law while not signing on to any other new international laws. So he's doing the exact same thing Germany did. Like, he'd make fake treaties with people and then he'd break them and do wars of aggression. And what's America doing? We're pulling out of all the treaties and we're committing acts of war against everybody. Like trying to invade their airspace with our spy vehicles, stealing their civilian vessels. This is all acts of war. It's what fascists do. They're criminals. All right. Fascism is when you criminals are running your government. They own it.
Say it with me, kids. Fascist shithole.
Share the word. I think we're good. I think we should go because I got to pee and cook dinner. Okay.
Cool.
We'll be back again soon, because I don't know, shit's happening in the world and I like to fucking blabber about it all. Also, you can find me on Twitter nowadays. I don't know if they're going to probably shut that account down soon. It's at C19D10 veteran, I think it's called. Something like that. And my picture is a picture of Alucard. That's one of the cool guys, okay? That pretty much sums up my powers. I'm ultra powerful like that.
Sure.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.